Hello, my quilting friends. Welcome to this Set Down Quilting Sunday. My name is Leah Day, and today I am quilting this baby quilt with some ruler foot quilting. So I placed a ruler foot on my machine, and I'm using this ruler or template to press down on the quilt and guide the whole thing through the machine and create these beautiful straight lines. And I am working this on the side of the quilt with the clouds, so it's almost like I'm transforming the clouds into rain clouds. It's making it look like they're raining. I love it. So you can line up the ruler and do different spacings of your lines. So technically this is pen stripes. That's what I call it whenever I stitch two lines closer together and then leave a gap and then two lines closer together. And so basically what I'm doing here is I am lining up the edge of the template with the previously stitched line, and there is 1/4 of an inch from the edge of this ruler foot to the center, to the needle. And so if I line that up and hold it firmly against the quilt and firmly against the ruler foot, and I try not to let it slip, anything slip out of place, then I'm going to get exact 1/4 inch spaced lines. Now you can see I've made a few mistakes because this line is so long I have to reposition the ruler as I'm stitching. So I have to be careful about that. And just doing a little bit of it here on the long arm, I've picked up a few tips. So I'm going to share those with you. So I'm travel stitching along the top of that clouds line, and I'm just going to keep travel stitching over to the right until I can place my ruler on that line of stitching and it be lined up with the one line away from the edge. That way I'll get a wider spacing between my lines of quilting. So here we go. I can line that ruler up now, and I'm going to have to stitch back just a bit so that way the edge of the ruler foot is making firm contact with the edge of the ruler. And now I'm pressing firmly down with both. My left hand is pressing down on the ruler and pressing against that ruler foot. So I'm pressing down and to the right. And my right hand is just really kind of here steering. You know, it's just helping push the whole thing through the machine. And this is the exact same method and the exact same way it would work if you were quilting on a home sewing machine. This is the Longarm, the Grace Unique 14 Plus, but it's going to work the exact same way on a home machine. And I've shared several videos on ruler foot quilting on a home machine. You can find those on YouTube. So it's really just a careful process of travel stitching over and lining up the ruler, making sure it's not going to slip out of place, and keeping the foot pressed against it, because even though this is nice straight lines, I could wiggle this foot off and I could go stitch clouds. You know, it's still a free motion quilting foot, and I could still hop around and go in any direction. But it's the ruler that is controlling it and pressing against it and making sure that it creates these perfectly spaced lines. So again, I'm stitching over, and this time to create the wider spacing, so the narrower spacing, I line up the edge of the ruler right with the edge of the previous line. Whenever I want the wider spacing, I line up this line that is one from the edge with the previously stitched line, and that's going to give me a 1/2 of an inch, so 1/4 inch on the ruler and 1/4 inch on the foot. It's kind of one of those things you got to get used to when you're ruler foot quilting, adding the 1/4 inch that you get for the foot whenever you're thinking of your design. And it's kind of cool, but honestly, it's taken me a little bit of time to get used to that. But once you start to kind of add that in, it really makes pretty much quilting any design very easy. So just nice straight lines, careful repositioning. You can quilt these longer lines with a shorter ruler, and that's just fine. Now you might be wondering about the ruler I'm using. This is one of the rulers from the Dresden Plate template set, but I had this one cut extra thick. Here is one of the regular templates, and you can purchase this template set and use these on your home sewing machine. If you want to get the thicker set for your long arm, it's a special order. You can send us an email and we'll order it for you. But as you can see, it's double the thickness, and we do double thickness on a long arm because the foot hops. And if I place this really thin ruler next to it, there's a good chance that that foot could hop and hop on top of the edge of the ruler. So for long arm quilting, you really do need a thicker ruler. And the good news is that there's a whole lot more rulers created for long arms than there are for home sewing machines. So you definitely have a lot to pick from. You know, you can just run some searches for rulers for a long arm, and you're going to find all sorts of shapes and cool templates to use on your long arm. So I love this technique. I think it's really fast. It's really simple. You might see me taking a little bit of time to line this ruler up, but I promise you, it is so much faster than pulling out my walking foot or even just stitching these straight lines in free motion. Because if I did this with regular free motion quilting, I'd have to mark every line in order to get this, beautiful straight lined effect. So that's it for this design, and here's what it looks like when I finish this section. So that's it for this video. If you'd like to learn more about the Grace Quilting machine, you can learn more about it in a link below this video. I really enjoy quilting on this machine. It's very simple, but it has a 15-inch harp, which makes it much easier to quilt larger quilts. I set this into a table, so it's a sit-down long arm, which means it works very much like your home sewing machine. But you can also put this machine on rails to quilt it like a long arm. So there's lots of things that you can do with it, and it can grow with you as you learn more about quilting and want to do new things. So learn more about it, and of course, if you have any questions about it, please ask in the comments below. I really want to help you learn more about quilting and find the right machine for you. Until next time, let's go quilt.